Takes me back to my teen years, smiling face with Hart's great romantic comedy for a cozy day at home. It's funny. It's brilliant. It's rewatchable. It pulls at your heartstrings no matter how hard you resist. It's a perfect comedy. Our wedding singing star has had an interesting career. This film seems to mark his transition into the more modern, sometimes disgusting, movies we see today. This film was still miles better than those. When local wedding singer Robbie Hart, played by Sandler, is dumped by his fiancée the day after their wedding that she didn't show up for, he spirals down into a nervous breakdown that sadly is fun to watch. Along the way, he befriends Julia Sullivan, played by Drew Barrymore, a waitress preparing for her own wedding to Australian businessman Glenn Julia, played by Matthew Glave. Yes, they do point out the future couple's name situation. Closing parenthesis. Their relationship blossoms and feelings soon develop, all while the wedding plans move right on ahead. This film has the corny moments that many of Adam Sandler's early films were known for, but they were sweet, and the plane scene at the end was especially fun. While he is childish at times, this is a version of Sandler that can be more easily related to as opposed to his later characters. That makes the film better and more engaging. And again, the corniness, which is sometimes extreme, is ultimately sweet for the most part. Enjoy. Since this is digital, I hope the problem resolves, but I have to turn it up for the dialogue and down for the blasting music. And I love the music. Love their vibe. Arrived quick and exactly as promised. Adam Sandler made this movie work. Drew Barrymore brought nothing to the film. The character of Julia could have been played by anyone. Drew made her unmemorable. Linda, the ex-girlfriend, was a more interesting character than Drew's Julia. But through it all, the soundtrack and Adam Sandler carried the show. Dang good movie. They really nailed it. Probably Sandler at his peak, to be honest. Right there with Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. But it's free right now on Hulu, so don't pay to rent it from Amazon. A perfect blend of his insecure charm, silly singing and wacky supporting cast. It's sad that none of Sandler's other films were ever this enjoyable. I have been an Adam Sandler fan since Billy Madison, seeing it 3 times in the theater, and Happy Gilmore, which continued the trend of comedy excellence. Then The Wedding Singer came along and showed us that Sandler was capable of blending real heart within his outrageous humor. The key to this film, and the first 2, is that unlike his later efforts, the cast does not consist solely of the Happy Madison gang, aka friends of Sandler. Every supporting role, even the extras, is perfectly cast, and although a few familiar SNL faces, Lovitz, Nealon, show up, the mostly unknown character actors add a touch of reality to the 80s universe they created. The only time Sandler came close to his former glory was after re-teaming with Drew Barrymore for 50 First Dates, but even then his hangers on buddies and gross-out humor spoiled the show. This version of the film has an additional scene, a nice surprise, featuring Rosie and Robbie that is very reminiscent of the meatball scene from the theatrical cut, but just as funny. The making of the musical mini-doc only manages to make you realize that the Broadway folks had no idea why people loved the movie as they discuss their decisions to replace all the beloved hits from the soundtrack with their own compositions and have the lead actors behave nothing like Adam Sandler. Click link in description for more reviews.